On today's episode of WatchJRGo, we are here in the house that I still don't live in. It's been too long. What is going on, guys? I am WatchJRGo, and today, like I said, we are here in my new house where some things have happened, but not enough has happened to move in, but everything's here. All the pieces are basically here to make it happen. We just need to finish putting it all together. We even got some cool new improvements like fire extinguishers. There was already a mount for one, so I went ahead and threw it in the closet there. And a lot of people were like, why do your microwave and oven need Wi-Fi in the last video? I want to mention this one more time. There's a good reason. You guys ever set the clock on your microwave and your oven to the exact same time, and then like 2 weeks later, one of them's off by 2 whole minutes? They set themselves now, all right? So that should be a good enough reason to have Wi-Fi on those two. If the power goes out or anything happens, they just reconnect to the internet and pull the date and time down. And honestly, it's pretty cool looking. I obviously brought the oven in, gave it some power, got it all set up. It's coming back out in, what are we at here? 4 more days. In 4 more days, I gotta pull it back out while they template the entire kitchen and get ready to set all the granite. So we're only a few days from granite. I think they said the granite will be done, in and done by the 22nd or something like that. And they're templating it on Monday, I think. So before they template it, we have to finish building the island here. That's what that giant piece of cardboard is over there. That has the matching wood inside it that lets you face the back of the island and make it look like a contiguous square there. And then these, of course, are the pillars for the overhang. So those will sit out there, something like that, and it'll have its countertop, and that's how you build an island. So we're getting close to that. Another cool thing is the granite has an inbuilt, one of those epoxied in undermount sinks, which means that's the last thing that we need in order to hook all the valves up, to put a sink in. So sink time. I'm super excited to have a place to wash my hands, and not only that, we'll have the downstairs one together about the same time. Check out this oven real quick since we're standing here. First of all, this is pretty cool, right? You have to, in case you have kids, now you have to squeeze these instead of just pushing in. I actually kind of like the squeeze. Nice little touch, kind of keeps younger kids from accidentally turning on the cooktop there. And then this is also very cool. You can flip through all of its modes, and I plan on just using air fry all the time so I can make some chicken nuggets, and I'm happy. What else do you need an oven for? Pizza, chicken nuggets? I don't really know what else these things are used for. Everyone who's ever watched this channel knows that I don't cook, so I don't have too much of a use for it. Also, a lot of people are hating on the Samsung appliances. Like I said, I don't cook too much, but I use my microwave 2 to 3 times a week, and I use the oven maybe once a month. And I have my entire other house. The day I bought it, I Samsunged everything so it would all match. They even left some appliances there that I could have kept using, like the old dishwasher, but Samsung the world, and it's been perfect ever since. I've never had a single problem. I have another Samsung fridge, the one with the TV in it, and that was, of course, at the old shop, and it's still being used. That one is still being used to this day by Mid-Century Renovations, and it's working perfectly. And my other Samsung fridge is also working perfectly, and I think we're gonna buy another Samsung fridge. So don't worry, I have no problems with Samsung appliances. I don't know what people are doing to break them, but that's not my experience with them. In my experience, they're excellent, and I like the brands matching. I'd love to do a Bosch dishwasher because, you know, everybody loves their Bosch dishwashers. But just to make sure it's all cohesive, we're probably just gonna Samsung it. And all the old Samsung stuff didn't have Wi-Fi, but even the new dishwasher will have smart things, because now, even on like the cheapest ones they make, Samsung put Wi-Fi in everything. So that's kind of cool. The only thing I didn't do over here was my Samsung washer and dryer. I should say, I have had a problem with the washer. Every once in a while, the washer errors out and says fail to fill. And then you have to turn it off and hit start again and run the whole cycle again. I don't even put soap back in it. I let it run the next cycle with just water, because you probably don't need to waste the soap. It's just washing it out. But it gets halfway through and then it says fail to fill, and then it errors, and then you have to run it again. It's no big deal. It's never really affected me, but that does happen every once in a while. Those are the very first generation full touchscreen smart washer and dryers, and they've been fine. I mean, sure, it's annoying every once in a while to hear it down there beeping until it pumps out all the water and then you go run it again, but that's the only Samsung problem I've ever had. Speaking of washers and dryers, I know this has been a point of contention too. Everybody loves to hate on this thing, but I haven't used it yet. I'm very excited to use it though. It's completely hooked up. This is, I don't know how it opens, the new GE Profile all-in-one wash and dry. So you just hit start and it runs the entire cycle. This thing has Wi-Fi too, but it has its own app, and I just do not want to install another app. I had smart things on my phone from the other washer and dryer 15 years ago, basically, like the day they came out, I bought those. This is very upsetting. I don't want to download another app. There's too many apps. It doesn't do anything for you anyway. In the living room here, we got to jump onto the plastic because I've got my shoes on. You can see we have baseboard. Look at that. We have baseboard all the way around. The entertainment center still on the way. I mean, that's taken a long time, but should be here any day, along with the new coffee table. The couch is basically ready to come over. I filled all the nail holes in all of the base, and all that's really left is touch-up paint because we sanded the 45s to make sure they transition perfectly. So we need to do a little bit of painting in there, and then we can start bringing over some furniture in the living room. We're not trimming out the windows. I've mentioned that many times. Every window and door on this house is getting replaced, so there's no reason to trim them out and then rip it all right back off in a few months or something like that. So we're just gonna leave those alone for now. I thought we'd trim this place out in one day and then be ready to move in immediately. But Eric was like, trimming out a house this size is not trivial. He said it usually takes a week. They finish up like all the renovations on houses they're working on, and then he gets about an entire week to trim everything out, fill all the nail holes, and you know, stain, seal, whatever it takes, and also finish paint wherever nails went through the trim, something like that. So again, I thought we'd be done with this immediately. It's taking much longer. This room still doesn't have baseboard. It will soon. It's all done and painted. It just needs to go in. The master shower got its water feeds from the basement last night. It's a big pain to run that 3/4 line in there, but we got it done. The problem with that is there's a cavity right underneath this where all the return airs hide in the beam in the basement. So when you try to push pipe in and you want it to turn and head towards the mechanical room, it doesn't work. It keeps going straight down and you can't see where it goes. So you have to get in there with like fish sticks and hook the end of the pipe and then pull it. And 3/4 is not very flexible, so it took a long time. It probably took 30 minutes to pull each one of those in, and they're like 15 feet long. So you can imagine how much of a struggle bus we were on right there. Anyway, that's the update on the master. I don't have anything else for you guys right now. We have a lot going on in the basement, however, because like I said, I plan on waiting months to finish that shower up. It's really no big deal. It can get done whenever. Down here in the basement / paint booth, a lot has happened, and this is where I am very excited to be at the moment because it's all coming together. This needed to get done, so I had one shower before I actually moved over here, and it's finally getting done. So before we get into the shower, I do want to mention that before, there were no lights in any of these rooms. We've talked about that many times. And now look, we've got power for what will be a ceiling fan. It's gonna get one of those brace boxes up there. And that's brought over here to what I found out was just some insanity. This light switch here, the power came in and then goes back out and only goes to this outlet and then that closet. So if you shut the light switch off, the closet and the outlet shut off and that's it. Everything else is just on. So we are solving that problem. Those two that are on the switch will get tied together and the switch leg will go to the light. Cool, right? The way lights are supposed to work. Unbelievable. Over here in the mechanical room, a lot of magic is happening. You can see the Navion. Everybody threw a fit about this too. Everybody has something to say about literally every single thing I do on this house. But Navion and Renai are the best of the best when it comes to boilers. This is their new recirculating one. You can see the internal recirc pump right there. And my dad came over here, took this thing apart and was like, wow, this looks way better than the old ones. He has a ton of boilers like this at his house, at his shop, just all over the place. You know, the employee spaces over there have heated floors that are heated by Navion boilers, and I think they even use these as preheat on steam generators. So lots of experience with Navions, no real problems, even though the comments seem to say otherwise. we're doing a Navion. So this is pretty big for the house. It's a monster, and all of the old gas train in here was a nightmare. A lot of crazy things had been done over the years. I want to point a couple of them out. First of all, for some reason, everything was 1.5 inches. I have no idea why, but all the way over to the point of use, they ran 1.5 inches instead of something reasonable like 3/4. And where there is 3/4, like right here, this went to the fireplace and they just hacked it off and put a plug in there. I want the gas fireplace back. I'm a big fan of auto ignition gas fireplaces. Obviously, when it's done, we'll probably replace that brass fireplace grill over there, make it look kind of cool, and then put the gas back so it actually gets used and you don't have to track through the house with a bunch of wood. What we're gonna do to make that possible is hack this off again, and then put a union up here and put a gas valve up here, because there were no gas valves in the entire gas train. There wasn't a gas valve for the water heater, there wasn't a gas valve for the furnace. So obviously when we started on this, we shut the gas off outside, and now it's all getting completely redone with drip legs. There were no drip legs before. It's just so bad, and also so oversized. I don't understand. They weren't supplying anything that crazy. Anyway, the new gas train here is starting to take shape. This will be the valve that feeds the water heater, and there's a union there in case you need to service it. And we have the PEX connectors on there already, so we can start running all the water lines maybe today or tomorrow. But yeah, there it is, our big tankless water heater. A new and improved install where if something goes wrong, you can service it without shutting the gas off outside. Always nice when it's wintertime, right? It's freezing cold and something breaks. You don't want to have to go outside. You want to just shut off a valve at the point of use. So it's just good to have it for safety anyway. So we're fixing it all. It was expensive to replace all of the pipe and all of these valves. Those valves aren't cheap. They add up. Anyway, over here in the bathroom, I can finally show you guys a lot's going on. We finished stubbing out the PEX for the sink right there. There's still gonna be a sanitary tee right here with a drain for the sink. So that still needs to go in. That drain goes into the floor, runs over to the pit. In the middle of running the toilet PEX right now, which is awesome. We got the mount in there. We got its little 90-degree bracket. And over here, we have the basement shower going in its Onyx. So this showed up yesterday. It's what I've been waiting on for quite a while. I was not expecting, I figured we would order this and then be installing it 2 days later. Nope, there is a 6-week lead time at least on Onyx showers. But we went pretty crazy. We did concrete with this hex pattern down in the bottom. Big fan of this. And then that contrasts with a much lighter wall. Both of these have like sparkle metallics in them, which I think is pretty cool. Kind of an 80s, 70s, 80s throwback to have the metallics in them. And then this has the up wavy pattern on all of the walls. So that'll be pretty cool here. Obviously the pan is just sitting here while we finish up the drain. And today I need to get the valve mounted and rough in at least the shower head and the hand shower ports there. But once all that's in, we can sheetrock this and get ready to start sticking the walls up. I showed you guys at the lake the way you do these Onyx showers is they come with like an adhesive, and you just grab your power caulk gun. There's like 10 tubes of adhesive you have to put in, so you better have a power caulk gun. And then you just put swirls all the way down all of the sheetrock or on the walls themselves. And then you push up the walls and then support them, and they just kind of stick up there. And since they sit inside the pan, you have a permanent seal forever. So this will be really cool. Once it's all wrapped up, we're getting closer. I actually have to cut the sheetrock back today so we can put a 48-inch piece in. There's quite a few things that need to get done, and I'm just gonna get busy working today and see how far we get. So let's get to it. I would love to get our valve mounted for that shower, which needs some blocking, and go ahead and get all that tied in. Once this valve's in, we'll be on a roll towards getting this shower completely done. Let's go. You guys know I don't want to build that shower. It's a lot of work. So I came in here and redid all of this. We got our new Decora switch, and we've got power up here to what will be our fan. So I got a lot done. Shut the breaker off, got all that rewired. I'm pretty happy about that. I am working on the shower though, don't worry. I have the laser in here, and now that I have the laser centered up on the pan, I know that basically this entire stud has to come out. The drop ear for the main shower needs to be on that line. The valve needs to be centered on that line. The body jets will run back and forth through it. I don't know if I'm actually gonna delete it or if I'm just gonna cut it right about here, and then put some blocking in and then box this out. But obviously it's not a real wall, it doesn't do anything. I'm gonna make some decisions, do a little bit of cutting, and then I'll be right back with you guys as we start actually assembling the shower. I think I made a little bit of a mistake. Well, kind of. Here's the deal. These valves, all the Kohler valves, say they need water hammer arresters. Personally, I've never had problems with water hammer in my life until one toilet just started failing in my old house. I just need to replace the valve again. It worked great for 12, 13 years now or something like that. I put a new valve in it when I moved into the house and it's been perfect ever since, and now it started shutting abruptly and causing water hammer. Copper pipes, so I'm worried about it. Even less worried about it on PEX. But I've got everything plumbed. I've got my 3/4 supply lines in here, and they say to put the water hammer arresters right here at the point of connection again. But you know what? The manifold's right there. It's 10 feet away, and it's about 10 foot to each of the showers because the manifold's right in the middle. This shower's over here, master shower over there. Why don't I just put the water hammer arresters right there on the lines where they come out of the tees? Because the 3/4 can't go into the manifold, so it's getting teed out. It seems like an easy solution, and I don't think there's gonna be a bunch of difference in the water hammer between, 10 foot of pipe. So I think I'm just gonna go ahead and hook all this up, and we're basically ready to throw some sheetrock up here. This has taken a while to add all this blocking, and this piece of blocking here had to be ripped down because you have to get the sheetrock and the finished wall between those two lines right there, and it's very critical once you put the wall around this, and then you trim this down with a razor blade until it's flush, and then you put on the trim. So if you mess up and don't get your finished wall to land in the middle of that little 3/4 inch, you're in trouble. And I have about 3/4 inch of wall to finish out, 1/2 inch of sheetrock, and of course, about 1/4 inch of the actual onyx. So lots of adjusting, but I got all that done, got it up here. I think we just keep plumbing. Now that's looking better. We got our hand shower right over here. We got the main shower head way up high, almost to the ceiling. I like them being pretty high, especially because they always have that drop. So at that point, you can pretty much always reach it because there's a, 2-inch drop there after it hits the angle. And then of course we have 2 body jets on the way. I still need to see them to figure out the install depths for those. They're actually pretty tricky to rough in, but we're doing some horizontal body sprays, one here and one here. Those will come out of the bottom of the valve, and then obviously there will be a balancing loop to make sure they have even water pressure, and that's done. This shower is roughed in and ready to be finished out. So hopefully I'm finishing this all out this weekend. I might even try to figure out how those body sprays actually install and then just go ahead and rough those in too before they get here. If I'm wrong, I'm in trouble, but if I'm not, it sure saves us a lot of time. Anyway, I am pumped about that. I know a lot of you guys are be wondering about this stud here that had to get deleted and all of these terrible sheetrock patches that I just ended up ripping out. I'm gonna cut out all that sheetrock on the other side. It's inside a closet, and replace it. And when we have that room over there refinished, we'll get all that refinished as well. It was a lot easier to replace some cheap sheetrock than it is to have a bunch of random boards inside the wall that were holding this up. So it looks pretty clean. I'm very happy with how it turned out. I still have to jump in here and switch the hot and cold on the thermostatic valve. You have to pull out these little valve sets right there and move the hot down and the cold up. But that's it. That's how you install one of those valves. You basically decide what you want to go where and stick it all in. These are pretty modular. Even the faceplates, the laser engraved faceplates, they can move to any slot you want. So this one obviously 1 normal shower head, 2 hand shower, 3 body jet. And the plates are laser engraved to go with it. I know it doesn't look like much, but that was actually a lot of work finished up, and hopefully by the end of this weekend we've got the water heater, gas to the furnace and the water heater, the water lines to that, the condensate drain out of it. Hopefully that's completely wrapped up this weekend, and that is also completely wrapped up this weekend, and we're finishing out this entire bathroom. I'd like to have the ceiling in, the walls up. All of that really depends on, I'm pretty sure I just got COVID. I am absolutely dying right now. I have like chills, sweat pouring out of my face. Feels like I have a fever. I don't really know, but I feel absolutely terrible. And I can tell you right now, I'm going home. I'm absolutely done for the day. That is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to head on over to shop.WatchJRGo.com for cool shirts, not like this. And please like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want to do. And I will talk to you next time. Oh well, while I sit at home, I can try to figure out from the drawings how those body jets mount and come back and cut some blocking and keep going. I've honestly felt terrible all day, but for some reason when you feel absolutely terrible, you can actually work a little bit harder. I don't know, you don't stop. You take more breaks, but you don't stop. I sat down and looked at the drawings for a little bit because I didn't want to quit, but Kohler tells you to use something that doesn't even exist. It says to use a high ear male drop elbow, which, I mean, maybe it exists somewhere, but it apparently doesn't exist with a PEX A connection, so I'm gonna have to go ahead and not do that and use a standard PEX A drop elbow and then figure out the distance to make everything work. So I really wish those body jets were here. Then I could just test it.